President Norton, members of the Board of Trustees, administration and faculty, and distinguished guests, friends, and family, and especially each and every graduate sitting before me. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this joyous occasion. As I reflect on my own commencement a number of years ago in the Garden Theater on Central Campus, it turned out to be more than I imagined it would be. Yes, it was a time to celebrate. It was a time to appreciate faculty for believing in me, and it was a time to thank family and friends for their support. But it was also a life-changing event in my life. But today is your moment. Celebrate it. And there's nothing like a medieval, academic, high ceremony like this to do exactly that. You have endured long hours of study, rigorous coursework, demanding exams, financial challenges, and yes, a natural disaster, and perhaps discouragement and disappointment along the way. You may even have wondered if you would be able to finish your program. But here you are, standing tall, holding a UNC graduate degree, and I congratulate you. I think that as the years pass, you will find that the University of Northern Colorado is a very special place. Academic excellence and relevance are important, but this university's top priority has always been its students. UNC is large enough to offer comprehensive graduate programs, yet intimate enough for faculty to know their students. I often hear administrators, faculty, and staff talk about how the student experience can be enriched. It was impressive to me to see the university's recent outreach to students in surrounding communities who were devastated by the recent flooding. Those of us who have been privileged to attend UNC share a lifelong bond because of our shared experience. I am still in contact with several of my fellow students after 40 years. I will be among the first to assure you that your time and effort here has been well spent. My life has never been the same since earning a UNC graduate degree. Someone once asked me, "Bill, why do you want a doctoral degree?" And I said, "Well, I don't have anything specific in mind, but I think it will provide me with opportunities that I otherwise would not have." That proved to be oh so true. I have been privileged to serve as a guidance consultant, a speaker, an author, a therapist, a counselor educator in higher education, and a university dean. And all of that happened after I received my graduate degree from this university. I know the value of a UNC graduate degree and the potential it holds for your future. With this in mind, let me offer you some thoughts that might help you move beyond your recent status as a student. Now, I have been known as a storyteller, so I want to begin with a story. My graduate course of study was in counseling, and so I had the privilege every once in a while to interact with icons in the field of counseling. One of those persons was Carl Rogers, the father of client-centered therapy. He believed that the natural bent of every individual is towards self-actualization, becoming all one can be. So one year, when we were having a California State Counseling Conference in San Diego, we wanted to invite Carl Rogers to come to our conference and give him an award for his support throughout the years. So I wrote him a letter, and I said, Dr. Rogers, we would love to have you involved with our conference. You don't have to speak, but just come, and we want to thank you for all that you have done for our organization in California. I gave him my phone number in the letter in case he wanted a ride to the conference center. Well, there I was sitting in my office. The phone rings. Bill, this is Carl Rogers. Now get the picture. An icon, a universally known person in my field. Think of somebody in your discipline that you studied their books. You practiced what they said. Well, what in the world would you say? I said, hey, Carl, how you doing? He said, I really would like a ride to the conference center. At my age, I'm a little nervous driving downtown, and so if you could pick me up, that would be great. Well, I said, you know, you live in La Jolla, not too far from the conference center. You're going to have to give me directions. Well, if you've ever been to La Jolla, you know that there are many homes perched up there on the cliffs overlooking La Jolla Cove and the Pacific Ocean. You have to make several turns, a lot of switchbacks to make it up to certain of those homes. So he began to describe for me the way to his home. Each time he would tell me about a road or a turn, you could begin to hear frustration in his voice. Finally, he said this to me, Bill, whenever you reach a decision point in the road, always choose the road that leads up. Without consciously knowing it, he gave me a metaphor for successful living, and I offer it as you face your future. However, it does beg the question, what might choosing the road up involve? Let me suggest 5 ideas for your consideration. I will do this briefly. First, become vision directed. You're already familiar with this process. Your identity during the last number of years has been that of a graduate student. You envisioned obtaining a graduate degree, and as of tonight, you hold one. Now you have the opportunity once again to reflect on who you want to be and what you want to do with your life. Your vision should be challenging enough to have to stretch for it. Make it bigger than you can attain at the moment, so you will need to grow into it. Revisit it often enough to ensure it is worthy of your effort to embrace it. As I completed my studies at UNC, I envisioned becoming a counselor educator in higher education. After gaining significant clinical experience in private practice, my vision became a reality. Second, cultivate a personal calling of service. In other words, in what ways do you want to contribute to the well-being of those people around you or in your community? What does your history, your faith, your values, your gifts, your interests, your skills call you to do? Will you mentor others? Will you give a nonprofit organization your time and effort? Will you engage in public service? Your contribution can be reflected in your career, your avocation, or both. Your calling will help you determine your priorities, define your personal and professional interactions, direct your energy, and guide your future endeavors and relationships. Don't worry if your calling is a bit unconventional. I have read of an individual who teaches photography to sight-impaired students. Third, value personal renewal. Some things we do are wonderful, useful, noble, applauded by others, but they may deplete our energy. Balance your life by associating with those individuals and participating in those activities that energize you. Develop new skills, participate in different experiences, take advantage of new opportunities. Surround yourself with a supportive network of people who care about you. Plan your life in such a manner that you both give and receive. And remember, most of us will not do the same thing for the rest of our lives. Fourth, develop resiliency in order to stay the course. Life has a way of throwing us unexpected curves. It may be the loss of a valued relationship. It may be the death of a family member. It may be the failure on a critical exam, a reversal of finances, failing to obtain a desired position, a natural disaster, or the end of a dream. Life has its rough patches, and it's filled with notable people who have experienced setbacks. For my wife and me, our faith, family, friends, and even colleagues enabled us to recover from the loss of our 13-month-old infant daughter to cancer. Perhaps it's helpful to realize that such setbacks come to all of us. Asking why me is rarely constructive. Your response will be key. Rise up again for another day. And remember, recovery often results in personal growth and development. Finally, play along the way. Perhaps some of you have enjoyed reading the writings of Louis L'Amour. He happens to be my favorite Western author. He wrote in his book, Ride the Dark Trail, always remember when traveling, the trail's the thing, not the end of the trail. Travel too fast, and you'll forget what you're traveling for. Just as you have setbacks, you're likely to experience delightful serendipities. Embrace them. Seek to integrate work and play. Be grateful every morning for another day. And most of all, treasure time spent with family and friends. Again, congratulations on your significant achievement. When you come to a decision point in your road, let me encourage you to always choose the road that leads up. And most importantly, remember, once a bear, always a bear.